Okay, well, this is the October regular meeting of the LGBTQIA plus commission. We have 7 commissioners present, so we have quorum. I'll identify the commissioners who are present, and they are Billy Heilman, the secretary, the co-chairs Derek Tynes, Sarah Rosso, and Sue Kerr, and commissioners Guillermo Velazquez, Richard Parsakian, and Lenny Orbovich are all present. I am not sure which co-chair is facilitating this meeting, but I'll say that we've taken care of roll call, and I'll start by making a motion that the August meetings minutes are adopted. If there's a second, we'll vote on that.
Second.
Thank you. I made the motion, and a chair should be asking for either comments or move to a vote.
Are there any comments or any motions, any other things to be said? If not, we'll take a vote. This is Derek Tynes. Can you hear me?
Yes, Derek, thank you for that. We're not hearing anyone speak up regarding making comments on the minutes, so I think that you can ask for yays and nays.
Yeah, all in favor say yay or nay. Say yay.
Yeah.
I can't see hands. I can't see hands.
Okay, we'll do it by sound.
Yes.
Noises there.
Yes.
All right. There's no nays. All right, so moved.
Okay, thank you, Derek. The minutes from August are adopted. We don't have September minutes because we did not have quorum in September. So this is our first meeting since our August meeting. And I'll do the acknowledgement of public comment. My quick perusal of the email, our email did not yield any public comment, but when any does show up, we will acknowledge it, organize it, and post it.
Thank you, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Sarah, I think you need to continue because I don't have an agenda and I'm driving. Or Sue, who are both on this call, right?
Right.
And they're not speaking, so.
And I'm fine with, I'm fine with doing this if.
Oh, okay, and I'll speak up and do the motions whenever I need.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the other 2 co-chairs are able to see the agenda, and I did get information that one is logged in, but also might need to mute because of another activity. So
okay, all right, let's
so
go
I'll just proceed if you want to hand me the gavel.
I'll hand you the gavel.
All
And
right.
next month, I will definitely appreciate the meeting.
Okay. So on our agenda that's on the screen, we're at the reports of officers and standing committees. The co-chairs report, what we have identified is if there is any knowledge of the staffing update for the commission. I think we did hear that the idea manager was filled, but I don't know if there's been any communication regarding that new city employee supporting the commission. If there's any report on that, if one of the commissioners or the co-chairs has information, please share.
I haven't heard anything.
Billy, I think I read in there somebody's response that there was somebody who accepted, but then they turned down the position. So they're back to square one, fulfilling that.
Are you saying that that happened a second time? Because I know that happened, you know, a couple months.
Okay. Okay, so maybe that was what I read.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
All right, so we don't have Maria Montano here, and who usually has the details on that. So we'll move on. The treasurer's report, so our treasurer Denise DeSimon is not able to be here tonight. She was seeking an update on we're at the point of that our brochure is printed. We believe the Spanish version is also available. I know that Richard, you've been eager to have additional copies of our brochure. So we're still relying on Maria and Denise for information on that. We don't have them present. So what I'll do is I'll contact them. I think the materials are at the printers at the city county building. I've picked up materials there before, and we'll figure out how to get those materials. Richard, are you interested in brochures?
Yes, I am. And if I have to, I could go downtown and pick them up also.
Okay, well, I'll include I'll include all the commissioners on the email so that those who are interested in picking them up, or whether one person picks them up, makes them a little easier to distribute, we'll do that. And I do believe we have the Spanish version available now also. We'll also wait for Denise regarding the commission budget. I know that she was scheduled to have a meeting with Patrick from the mayor's office. And that was, so she, regretted that she couldn't be here tonight because of a commitment that she had. But I think she will report on that in November. The secretary's report, my report is on attendance in general. Since the 2.5 years that we've been having the formal regular meetings, our attendance has been good in terms of meeting quorum. There have been now 2 meetings out of the 2.5 years that we were not able to conduct business due to a lack of quorum, falling short of quorum, which included last week. We also know that there's 2 commissioners that regularly cannot attend this meeting because of commitments on Thursday evening. I've been in contact with Commissioner Shante Porter, and Thursday is the day that her work schedule is late, but she tells me the other days of the week are her work hours end earlier. We need to set the calendar for 2024 in either our November or no later than our December meeting so that it can be posted for prior to the beginning of calendar year 2024. So we should take that into consideration. And we will, I'll solicit input prior to the November meeting from all the commissioners on whether another day of the week, whether the time period we're having the meetings and whether that's a good time, or whether the another day of the week would be good. And if we get, I find it's probably improbable that the third Thursday is the only day for those of us who have been able to attend, but since it's still a possibility, I won't, and we haven't voted, I won't say anything other than that. But I think we will probably try to accommodate Shante, since she's been a commissioner for some time and it's been through no fault of her own that she has not been able to attend. I think it's also true of another commissioner who has classes that evening. So we'll work on that so that we can maybe improve our rate of attendance and also accommodate the commissioners who have not been able to attend these meetings, so that 2024 we do a little bit better in that area. I'll say this also, it is we have a no fault attendance policy. And so the public can also know, since this is a public meeting, that commissioners are asked to at least report to us in advance, if possible, that they won't be able to make a meeting, and our minutes that are posted on the city website do record the commissioners who were present at the meeting. So we have a transparent attendance policy for the public, and we have a considerate policy for our commissioners who, for some reason or another, cannot make a regular meeting. And with that, we've done a pretty good job, minus 2 meetings over 2.5 years. So that's the end of my secretary's report on attendance. Our outreach coordinator also is one of the commissioners who could not be here this evening. Catherine Calhoun, who goes by Cece, did notify us of an engagement that she had committed to earlier. Could not be here tonight, so we don't have an outreach coordinator's report. That leads us. And if anybody has any comments on any of those items that I just went through, please interrupt now, and I'll then go to the report from special committees. Okay.
No
Bill,
comment.
go ahead.
Billy, did we talk about our budget, the commission budget?
Yeah, we did have a discussion of that. We had a discussion of that at 2 meetings. We had a discussion also in the executive committee. At the last scheduled commission meeting, the one that was scheduled for September, that we fell short of quorum. Patrick from and I'm blanking out on Patrick's last name. That's why I'm only referring to him by his first name. It's not intentional. But he was present. Maria Montano invited him he sort of leads the budget process for the city. He was invited to present to the commission information on the budget process because of our ongoing concerns around sort of conflicting information on what monies have been appropriated to the commission over the 3 budgetary years, and because we have not gotten consistent information on that. So our concerns about access to support and the incongruent information was led to Maria inviting Patrick to speak at the September meeting. They both were present, but since we didn't have quorum, we couldn't hold the meeting. I believe that in our informal discussion, since we could not hold a meeting, we did talk a little bit about the budget. He just shared some ideas because he was present, and then we left the meeting pretty quickly, the non-meeting. And but we are interested in him returning so that it's fully public and transparent what he shares with the commission. Since we've been public about our consternation over the process, there needs to be a continued process so that our commission is fully informed and the public has the ability to see that. So I hope that assists with what you were inquiring on, Richard. We're going to continue it. I believe Maria will invite Patrick at a soon future meeting.
Yeah, because at this point, the budget is set. I don't know where we fall within the mayor's budget, but it's a done deal at this point, correct? Am I correct on that?
I can't answer that.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll wait when we can get Patrick to come in and tell us more.
Yeah, but he was describing, but we weren't asking questions and, delving into too much because we didn't have quorum. So we did tell him that we'll listen, but we can't really deliberate. And he did talk about that there really are 2-level processes, and it may be that the first process is completed, but I think council has to vote on something before it's done. So
Okay.
there may be other opportunities.
Okay, thank you.
The working group on city council relationship, we had a post-agenda meeting, I believe it was in April, with city council and planned to have another one in October. We had it on our agenda to prepare for it throughout the summer. And on October 10th, when some commissioners, including, I know that CC as well as Derek were, did come to council chambers, were planning to log in. I think others were planning to log in too. But the meeting did not occur. I did contact Bruce Krause about that, and we essentially just have been missing each other in our communications, but I did communicate to him that we needed to understand, what happened, that commissioners took the time to travel to the city county building for an expected meeting, and it in fact didn't seem to be on their schedule for that day, since it was discussed pretty openly, very openly in our meetings over the course of several months. So I don't know what the reasons are that the meeting did not occur, but I've made a couple attempts to at least talk about it with Bruce Krause, and I don't want to assume anything one way or another until we hear from Mr. Krause on why it didn't happen.
Yeah, but because I went there and they said the meeting for city council did occur. It happened at 10 o'clock, but there was nothing scheduled at 1 o'clock at the time I was given. Anyway, there was nothing there at 1 o'clock. They had met at 10. The meeting was over about 12:10, that I was told, and there was nothing at 1 o'clock.
Yes, that's what I understand too. And but doesn't answer the question why it happened the way it did.
Correct.
And I think we need that answer.
Yes, sir. I agree.
And we need to look at our processes on confirming a meeting with city council so that we are absolutely sure and have good communication with them or their staff. If the council member can't, is so busy that they can't communicate, then their staff, it needs to be assigned to a staff member so that the same thing does not happen in the future.
I concur.
And I'm also going to say that when we have staff support, that may help with that also.
Right.
It's, we're not staff, we're volunteers, and we should be working on our policy agenda per the legislation that empowers us in this with specific duties. So that's the report on that. Thank you, Derek, for your added information on that. If anyone else wants to make a comment on this item. Okay, the next one also, the unfinished business. The legislative policy update, we sent last month, more than a month ago now, of multiple communications to legislators. We wrote to the sponsors of 3 anti-LGBTQIA proposed pieces of legislation that are in the House. And we also sent them to the leadership of we also sent communications to the leadership of the House, the leadership of the Senate, the leadership of, and also the governor, to let them know of our concern about anti-LGBTQIA legislation in Harrisburg. We also sent letters to the primary sponsors of the House bill for the Equality Act, which it passed the House and was the first piece of legislation that would amend the Human Relations Act, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act, to include gender identity and sexual orientation, along with the other protected classes in that. And Mark civil rights legislation for the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the only northeastern state that does not have statewide protections against discrimination based on discrimination that's based on gender identity or sexual orientation. So all it would take is Senate action, because the governor certainly would sign the bill if it got through the Senate. The Senate might pass it. So we also wrote to the majority leader in the Senate, asking him to give it a push out of committee and get it scheduled, because there could be enough support in the Senate to pass it, and we shouldn't pass this opportunity, since it took decades to even get it through the House.
Decades.
So that's where that is. But we have not heard, I have not seen any email back. We gave our contact information and email address, our contact information to everyone we wrote to for feedback on our participation, our communications, and also just a honest answer. To the Republican sponsors of the harmful bills, we said that we are willing to meet with them and have a conversation, and that they might learn something from the people whom they are affecting most if they would talk with us. But I haven't seen any return. There are newer bills in Harrisburg that are moving, is I guess, honest way to say it. Two bills, Senate Bill 7 and Senate Bill 340, both were passed by the Senate, are now headed to the Education Committee in the House, which would put requirements on school districts. There's also a new House bill. This one is, I think, particularly harmful and aimed at members of our communities, and that is House Bill 1727, which is the parental notification and permission for participation in school clubs and organizations. So a school would need to not allow any student to be in a club or organization unless a parent has signed a permission slip. And the parent would also have the right to attend a meeting. Now, my opinion on this is there may not be many parents outraged about their child joining the chess club or being a cheerleader, but they might have an issue with their child being part of the GSA. And we know that that is what they're aiming at, is that you cannot join a GSA unless your parent or caregiver signs a permission slip, should this bill become law. It's a terrible, heinous piece of legislation. It's one of the ones that is most clearly aimed at harming LGBTQIA youth. And I think that we may need to talk to the sponsors of this bill also about what their true intentions are. And we also know, as Lenny knows, and Lenny, you can add in as soon as I shut up in a moment, that when GSAs are at a school, the climate and culture for being accepting of gender variation, sexual orientation variation, when that is the culture of the school, that it's a welcoming place, there is tangible results. There's measured results in the mental health outcomes for LGBTQIA youth. It is not even fuzzy outcomes. It is the differences are so stark that it is clear that this is a harmful bill and would be a harmful law. I'll stop there. Lenny, do you want to say anything as our education commissioner?
Absolutely. So gender and sexuality alliances are
they're vital for the queer kids in every school. I mean, which goes without saying, but having a group that they know supports them, with adults in the building that support them, their ability to fellowship with each other and support one another. The impact upon kids' mental health and self-esteem and feeling of belonging and everything is, I mean, it's incalculable. But Billy's greater point is also true. There is plenty of research out there that the effect that these organizations have on school climate, raising visibility, normalizing the queer experience, it goes well beyond just the kids that are in the GSAs. It affects the entire school. And yeah, and hearing that even I mean, I don't think anything like this is going to pass or get past the governor, but just the idea that I can't tell you how many kids are in my GSA that are attending math tutoring on Wednesday afternoons because they can't tell their parents what they're doing because it's not safe. And I mean, that's no surprise to anyone in this meeting, but we all know that's the reality. And just the very idea of a law like this is it's gut wrenching. So yeah, we have to do whatever we can to stand up against this one.
Yes, indeed. So we'll work on that, and we'll perhaps make a motion at the November meeting to address these new ones. We need to look at the text of the bills. Some of these were just introduced in late September, and we'll do a look at them and bring it up also in our agenda in November. And as Lenny said, and as the data are clear, that just the existence of these bills, the several years now of national discourse, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of legislation in state houses across the country, and a few in Washington, D.C. too. But these bills, this national discourse is causing stress and anxiety among youth, because in the news, queer kids are being attacked, and it is causing harm, even when these bills do not end up being law, which we expect with our with Governor Shapiro, that none of these bills that are the negative ones will become law. But nevertheless, there they are. And
is this public schools only, or is this charter? Does this apply to charter schools and private schools, or is it just public schools, the ones that are directly benefited by the state?
It lists the entities that in the legislation always lists exactly which entities that the legislation covers. So
Right.
What we'll do is we will, share exactly that, the language of the bill, and let you know that. I perused the bills earlier today. I don't remember whether it explicitly said charters, but it does. It's not going to cover private schools. I mean, this is school code, but they sometimes don't include every entity that's covered by the school code, and charters are not covered by the school code in the same way. So
Right.
we'll get an answer for you on that and make that public.
Okay.
Also.
Okay. Thank you.
And for example, the bills that dealt with transgender athletes, the bill that dealt with transgender athletes, not only did it cover kindergarten, it also covered higher education. It went from K to through the the state system of higher ed in Pennsylvania, but I don't think that for example, the Mastriano's bill, Senate Bill 340, where that proposes to require all school districts to post all their curricula, the standards, the textbooks online, have a link to them, that every school district would need to do that, which, is an apparent attempt to post things so that Moms for Liberty can peruse it and see what they don't like. But nevertheless, the information about curricula and the books, certainly parents in the schools know that and have access to that. But anyway, that bill doesn't cover higher ed. So some of them,
Okay.
do, some of them don't.
Okay.
All right, that's all I have to say about that right now. If anybody else has any information or has discovered bills in Harrisburg that we should pay attention to, it does affect us locally. There are actions that are happening in school districts nearby regarding banning books. So we're going to keep an eye on that too. The new business. So we, at our executive committee meeting, we added these two items under new business. The first one was the idea that we should organize an LGBTQIA plus community town hall meeting. That one of the things that, we're facing with is our obligation to engage in the community and the ways to do that. So our agenda item here is to begin the discussion on perhaps an event. Of course, maybe it's a holiday party. I don't know. We're going into November and December, but to create an event where people could have access to us one-on-one as a group in some sort of forum, organize ideas, make a real good opportunity for input from people who are interested. And so that is the agenda item. If anybody would like to make comments on that or start the discussion on that or volunteer to be the chair of the subcommittee for that, any of the above, or just in general support the idea or not.
I support it. I think we should definitely do something. It would be lovely to have a gathering for holidays with our name on it. I think that would be amazing.
Public engagement like this is long overdue.
Yeah.
And I think we should start talking about some dates, possible dates, and then obviously we'll have a subject matter that will follow through. But I think setting a date would be important. That might work for everybody. And we could talk about funding later. I mean, I think there are sources that could pay for if it's refreshments or whatever else. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, but I think the date is important right now.
How about the week before Christmas? Which would be the 17th or 18th, somewhere around there.
I think it's gonna be a challenge for a holiday party to begin with, but I think we just should put maybe a Google, a doodle poll of like possible dates and see what's going on. I have to look at my big calendar of what's happening all over the city. And everybody else has to chime in too. Other people might have office parties or other engagements already. So we need to consider everybody else's schedules.
Yeah.
I agree with Richard with a methodology for soliciting input, and that it may be a little bit unwise to pick a date now without us all doing a good review of our various calendars, because we'll all of a sudden say, oh, whoops, that just landed on, I don't know. Anyway, we would, so why don't we, but I think we should do is, if we really are going to do this, we are going to have to do a little bit of work in person or Zoom conversation where we're focusing just on this, which does mean we need a working group or subcommittee on this issue. And that I do think we should pick a date for a working group to meet within a week or 10 days. And that and then send out that date to the rest of the commissioners, and also a solicitation to all the commissioners for ideas, for their opportunity for input by attending the working group or submitting ideas to the working group, and encouraging them to scour their calendars for a date for an event. It could be a gala, holiday party type event, or it could be more an opportunity for input through a town hall type thing, or it could be kind of a festive town hall if it's sort of in between the two. But I think we need a working group to do it. I'm willing to be a participant in that and attend the meeting and help.
I'll attend too if Richard has it.
Yes, I'd be interested. And also in person, an in-person meeting.
I'd be
Yes,
interested as well.
Are you saying in person for our working group or for
Yes.
our? Okay,
Yeah,
For the working
Yeah.
group,
Okay.
yeah.
all right, that's fine with me. That's good.
yes.
And
And Lenny said he'd be on too.
Okay,
absolutely.
But probably Cece would probably like to be a part of that too.
okay, well, she can respond to our email then.
Right.
Billy, I still like to acknowledge the offer of the space of the Hispanic Corporation. If you wanted to have if the commission wanted to have either a working session or a town hall gathering, I'd rather not be on the working group because I won't, I'm able to host meetings here, but I'm always very busy with clients, so I won't necessarily be able to mobilize to meetings. But that offer is there, and I can, if needed, participate virtually if you want me in the group. Otherwise, just count on the offer of the space. It will not be a gala because gala will be more like a hotel location, in my opinion. But definitely a town hall. Or once people can come and see the space, you can actually have the meeting here if you like, your working meeting here, so you can see the space and you can see how it is, to consider it for the future in case you would like to move that direction later on. At any time, it may be a location somewhere else, maybe some in a different location, but definitely this location can be considered necessary.
Guillermo, what's the address of your?
We are in Beachview at the Beachview Community Center.
Okay, yeah, that'll be a real difficult for me personally, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
well,
about
it's
anybody
as difficult as it is for you as it is for me to go all the way there. So that's why I'm saying having the meetings, it's just gonna have to be where the space and the location may work for having the actual event.
Yeah.
Well, how about this, Richard? I'll give you a lift to our working group meeting at the
Okay. Yeah, that would work.
Development Corporation headquarters.
Okay.
All right. So so
Okay.
let's do that. Let's do our working group meeting. First of all, I don't want to think Guillermo is going to think some kind of way about all of us because he's offered this so many times. We better accept sooner or later, or the relationship might end, and I don't want that to happen.
Well, throw out some dates that we can meet, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Well, let's we need to do it soon. We have on next Wednesday, there's our executive committee meeting, and we'll be on November 1st. Of course, Halloween, we're not doing it then.
Yeah.
And that's our community national holiday, right? I'm looking at my schedule and well, that's election day, so that's a bad day too.
As you're scheduling, I just wanted you to know, I'm usually here until 7, so, if you're looking at an after work meeting, it's okay.
That's freaking wild.
Yeah, that would be the only time I could do it is after work, after 5.
After 5. So I would pick you up at 5.
Mhm.
So we would be at Beachview, given traffic and all that, 5:30 to 5:45.
Yeah.
So,
That would work for me.
okay.
Pick a day.
All right. We just got to pick a day.
Okay.
And how you all feel about Friday evenings?
Um,
You know how we all feel.
yeah, it depends on the day. If it's November, I could do the 3rd or the 10th. The other Fridays I'm booked.
Yeah. The only reason I'm saying that is other than election day,
Yeah.
I have a 4:30 meeting every single day and through the first 3 weeks of November.
Mhm.
And I know you all want my job, but that's just so you know, when you get it, that's what
I
you're,
am open.
I do
on the
not,
10.
Billy.
that's what you'll be
I am
facing.
available on the 10th. I am not available on the 3rd.
Okay.
Well, let's do the 10th and then know that this is going to be the major working group
Yeah.
meeting.
Is
because we're gonna get it done on this day.
are Derek and Lenny, are you guys available that day?
Sure.
All right.
And then we have to talk to CC also,
Yeah.
see if she's available. Can
Or
we do
you-
a tentative November 10th and talk to her?
Okay. Now, if you want,
Yeah, that works.
yeah, the 31st. Oh, goodness. I could do the 3rd too.
Yeah, but Guillermo's not available.
Oh,
on the
that's right.
3rd.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. So
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. The 10th. I'll send the email out.
Thank you.
Thank you for the space, Guillermo.
Yes.
You
And
can-
it'll be great to see your space there.
Yeah, well, you can take a look at it, if you don't like this, okay? You can try something else in Shady Side, Oakland, wherever it works for people. You won't hurt my feelings. It's okay.
I can decorate any space.
I live in
Okay.
Brookline, so I'm all for Beachview.
Okay. Okay.
Let me get back to the agenda. The last item on the agenda is commission meetings in person. So we are eager to do that. Maybe we'll be thinking about that on the 10th also, but I can talk to David Finer, or one of the co-chairs can talk to David Finer. What I'll do is I'll send an email to him to begin the discussion that includes the executive committee about the facilities that they can support. There are city entities that don't go through IMP to hold their meetings, but the ones that do right now have all continued to be virtual. It's my feeling that this commission is eager to have in-person meetings, and that is as or more important than having it live streamed. In-person meetings might mean that they're not live streamed unless they're in council chambers. That's the only way IMP can do it. But we can also And you try to figure out how we can, but they can in high quality record our meetings and then post them after the fact, which some entities do. There's various committees of the Pittsburgh Public Schools, like the Education Committee, that don't stream them live, but then the full meeting is available on their YouTube channel or whatever it is. But we, of course, have a good library of commission meetings because we've been doing these Zoom meetings for, a couple years now of our meetings that are a library on the city's YouTube channel. So that is a good archive of our deliberations and decision-making and reports. So at least we should continue that so that there's not an interruption in that public record that is available to anyone with internet connections anywhere in the world, I suppose. But anyway, so that's my view on this, that we should look at in-person meetings. Of course, we are able to do Zoom for the remaining 2 meetings of the calendar year. We also need to adopt the calendar for 2024, as I said earlier, and need to consider a day other than the 3rd Thursday, because it is Shante Porter can't do that day, and there might, but so we're going to take care of soliciting information on that too. But any comments on in-person meetings when we should attempt to do that? We've asked this before, but let's really make it happen if that's what we want.
We're looking past the need to necessarily live stream and maybe just record and post. I could probably arrange meetings at Carrick High School as well. I'm quite certain I could get our meeting spaces. So it would be another option.
All right, well, that's good. So I'm keeping a record of, people who are identifying possible spaces. And if we are around the city, that does increase access for someone who wants to be at least one meeting to make public comment. If we're in different places of the city, as we've already discovered, some places are easier for Richard and some places easier for Guillermo. That's going to be true for lots of people. And I will reiterate, while you're thinking of other things, that we will get a clear understanding. We had sort of an off-the-cuff discussion before we started this meeting with Bill Lamar, but he did send us that we would have to get clear understandings from David Feiner in IMP. So we will do that. We will contact him so that when we discuss this at our next meeting or at an executive committee meeting or through email earlier, that we will all have an understanding of exactly what the city can provide, at least the people who have been supporting us so well for months and months and months on the city channel, what they can provide if we are somewhere else. And we do know that hybrid is a problem at offsite sites, and that live streaming is a difficulty at offsite sites, but we will get a clear understanding exactly what those parameters are so that you all know them. So Guillermo has offered his place. Lenny has suggested Carrick. There was earlier comments when we've discussed this before, that starting at the city county building at a site there, maybe doing the first one there. And I think we need perhaps Councilman Kraus or Maria Montano to give us some more information there, but we'll seek what the best places there are, if they are an option too. We know that parking downtown is an issue for some of us, and maybe the public too. Any other thoughts on this?
No.
All right, now that I closed the agenda, just, do want to point out that we are going to adjourn at this point. Maybe should have sooner, but, because I didn't notice with the agenda up, the participant list at that point. So at some point, it appears we have lost quorum. So, understanding that, I won't ask for any, announcements or new business, and, we'll continue everything that we did tonight through email and at the executive committee and at the November 10th working group for some sort of public engagement. Okay. Have a good night. Don't even need to vote on it. We can't vote.
Thank
Can't
you.
vote anyway. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you,
Good night.
Mr. Lamar and Ms. Watson. We appreciate your support.